All right, day 4 of RPGaDay 2026. We're going to build another faction. Let's see how many factions we want to build for this world before we move on to other parts of how these factions are built and interact and such. And so I'm going to roll a d8 to see how many we're going to do total. We've already done 3, and our total is 6. So we're going to do 6 factions. So that's not quite a week's worth. All right. Going to our random monster tables, looking at the highest level or the lowest level, depending on how you look at dungeons, of the level 10 dungeon matrix. So we have a 20 or a 2. So a 2 would be Demon Prince in Monster Manual 2. A 20 in Fiendfolio would be a character, like a PC. And then in the Dungeon Master's Guide, also a character, some sort of PC. All right, so looking through the books at the Demon Lords listed under Demon, there are 4 listed in the Monster Manual, 1 in the Fiendfolio, and 5 in the Monster Manual 2. That doesn't include Tiamat, who is mentioned in the description of the Demon Lord, the Demon Prince entry. So that would make 11. So there may be others stacked somewhere else, but there's also a few gods we could pick from the deities and demigods for the non-human deities. Some of them are chaotic evil, so they can be considered demon princes. So I think I will roll a d12, and we'll just go down the list: Monster Manual, Fiendfolio, Monster Manual 2, and if it, with Tiamat being 11, if it's a 12, we'll go to the deities and demigods entries and roll on there. So, and wouldn't you know it, it's a 12. So looking at the non-human god entries, deities and demigods, I see 4 entries that aren't also in one of the monster manuals that fall into the category of chaotic evil. So we're going to go with those. And we're going to roll a d4 and see what we come up with. And so we come up with 1. That goes Hrugik, the lesser god of the bugbears. So he will be our demon prince. And that, of course, will immediately give us followers that are bugbears and probably also hobgoblins and goblins. But let's do a roll anyway and see if we come up with any other maybe unusual followers for Hrugik. So we'll start with rolling to see what the terrain is in the area where this faction is operating. I got a 7, which is going to give us mountains. So they're in the mountains. And so then rolling on the random encounter table charts, we'll get a 41 or a 5 for the Monster Manual 2. So for Fiendfolio, we get humanoids, which, that makes sense. You've got your bugbears, hobgoblins, and goblins. For the Dungeon Master's Guide, we get, on a 41, Chiron, Lamassu, Shedu, Leprechaun. Chiron, Lamassu, Shedu, those are very powerful, lawful good creatures. So those won't apply here. And Monster Manual 2, for a 5, we get a spotted lion. Spotted lion. So maybe a few spotted lions hanging around as pets. So we'll add that to the list. But otherwise, bugbears, goblins, and hobgoblins. So now going to our Midnight Muscadines card deck, we draw for attitude. What is the attitude of this faction? It is curious neutral. That's interesting. And then for a morale, we get surrendered. So perhaps something has happened to this faction that has made them loath to be aggressive at the moment. For complication, we get friendly rivalry. So that could certainly apply within the faction, as those types of creatures don't tend to get along with each other when you get a lot of them together. Advantage is favorable weather. Given that some of those creatures don't like sunlight, the god is probably keeping it pretty cloudy in their area. And then action is trying to stop. And then we finish that off with a subject or object from the next card. Guild member or livestock. So I think guild member, one of their own number, probably makes the most sense. Livestock might be interesting. I'm not sure how that would fit in, but I'm going to write that down just in case. So we've got another faction, the 4th of 6th, that will be in this world that I'm randomly putting together for RPGaDay 2026. So thank you for joining me.